Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Okay, folks, right now we're going to talk about a new series that we're launching, a new segment called The American Worker. What we have seen over the last number of years, and we've talked about it on this show, the attacks on unions, but also we have now seen, based upon Lee Saunders of AFSCME, being on our show last week, talking about the increase, the rebound of unions as well. But we're still seeing job losses. We're still seeing automation. We're seeing wages, how all of that impacts the American worker, especially African Americans. And that was a story that actually caught my attention over the weekend, where the Brookings Institute had a particular piece that dealt with the issue of wages and dealing with racial discrimination and how they impact us. This new report also, so I saw that particular piece. And then we have this report from the Hamilton Project. And so we have right now one of the authors of the Hamilton Project, Bradley Hardy, is a Ph.D. economist from American University. So we certainly want to thank Dr. Hardy for being with us. And so we talk about how is the issue of racial discrimination, Doc, impact where you live, the kind of jobs that are available, and what that particular pay is.
Yeah, so Roland, great to be with you. And, you know, one of the things that we looked at in this study is that it turns out to matter quite a bit where you're growing up, where you're born. And this actually kind of weaves nicely into your last segment that local policymakers have a lot to do with how they fund the education system, how they fund the workforce system, whether and how they push for minimum wage hikes. And so Black workers are out there working quite hard, just like other Americans. And in many instances, they are fighting against a legacy of public policies that were formed to be quite harmful.
As we look at that, we talk about where jobs go. I mean, look, we also understand that you have a lot of companies who are desiring to go to right-to-work states where you don't have strong unions as well. That also is impacting those high-wage jobs and where they're going. You also saw what just happened with Amazon, where they pulled out of New York City because of the pressure that they were getting, because people were saying, hey, are you going to pay a livable wage? And also, why should taxpayers be forking over $3 billion in incentives to get a company that is the most profitable country, the biggest company in the country, and Jeff Bezos, the owner, is the richest man in the world. They were saying, why do you need $3 billion in tax breaks to move into an area?
Sure. No, I think it's a great point. The flip side of the coin, though, is that many people have railed against New York State as being expensive, having progressive policies. One other way to view this is that they were really on the cusp of closing this deal. Think what you may about the intricacies. And so I think it actually does blow a hole in the notion that states with higher minimum wages, some progressive economic policies can't attract high-quality employers. I think that many of the drivers are going to be skilled workforce populations to draw upon. Amazon can't do what it wants to do if it doesn't have a great battery of high-quality workers to draw upon. So, I think your point stands. I think businesses are going to do what they do. They're going to maximize profits, right? No doubt about that. And at the same time, I think that this just does require policymakers to continue to yes, be thoughtful about those costs that those firms incur, but you got to listen to the will of the people. And I think that some of those concerns might have to do with whether or not incumbent residents can benefit from the jobs that are coming in as well.
So why do you call this a Hamilton Project?
So, well, I can't take credit for that. But the broader idea of Hamilton, and Jay Shambaugh is doing a great job at Brookings through Hamilton. But the idea is to think about economic growth policies that really do kind of have the best interests of the country in mind. That's how I've sort of taken the initiative. And the project over the years has tended to bring together economists and other social scientists on both sides of the ideological spectrum. So it's been going for several years now within economic studies at Brookings.
So what is the most important thing we should take away from this report, especially policymakers who want to attract businesses to their area, and for the people who want to, frankly, move where available jobs are?
So, I mean, I think there's a few takeaways. First of all, we were thinking a lot about the role of history. The fact that, at the end of the day, so much of what we see in terms of the inequities you've talked about on this show, and you had a great eminent economist and Julian Malveaux on earlier. So much of this has to do with public policies having to do with segregation, redlining policies. That's had a big part in wealth transmission and these big black-white wealth gaps. But the second piece, Roland, is related to the sorts of topics you've been covering traveling the country. You talk a lot about education. Well, we have ironclad evidence, I believe, in economics now that spending on secondary education does raise student outcomes, does raise quality. It doesn't mean that's the only thing, but that was a puzzle in the social sciences. That ability to spend is then intimately related to the local area's public policies, property taxation. Are there limits on the ability to tax? What does that look like across different parts of the U.S.? And in our work, we found that there were some clear gradients that in many instances disadvantaged Black Americans. So I think a takeaway is that there's some really difficult, tough issues we face in society that are pretty clear to see, i.e. your last segment, man holding a gun, some very clear criminal justice violations. But there are also some very pernicious issues in the public policy sector, how we finance education, social welfare, housing, that have very serious consequences for Black families, by and large, because we don't come to the market with the same wealth. So it's not everything, but it means quite a bit. And I just think the viewers should be educated on the notion that much of this action is happening at the state and local level, serious resources that have serious impacts on families and their economic outcomes.
And again, this is why we tell people, don't just focus on what's happening in Washington, D.C., focus what's happening with city, counties, and states as well. Doc, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
A lot of us out there want to be healthier in 2009. We want to change how we look. We want to live healthier. We want to lose weight. We want to have more energy. And so, look, I'm just like you. For me, it's all about improving my golf game, trying to get my handicap from 6.7 down to a 2, which means improving core, also having greater flexibility. So one of the things that I did was begin the year with the Herbs Full Body Cleanse. Lost about 18 pounds doing so. And so now it's about maintenance, about continuing to be on that path to better living, healthier living, and feeling a lot better. And so the D-Herb Cleanse allows for you to be able to do that. Not only go through the cleanse, but also go through a regimen of maintaining your weight loss goals after you've gone through the full body cleanse. If you want to do that, what you should do is go to dherbs.com, or you can call 1-866-4D-HERBS, 1-866-4D-HERBS. Use the promo code ROLAND. The promo code is Roland. Now, of course, what the cleanses does, it allows you to clean out your system, if you will, removing a lot of those processed foods, toxic foods, getting you drinking more water, eating raw fruits and raw vegetables and nuts and things along those lines to, in essence, detox your body. And so if you want to try that, again, go to dherbs.com, use the promo code Roland, or call 1-866-4D-HERBS, 1-866-4D-HERBS. Don't forget to use the promo code ROLAND.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.